Hello, this is Sabina at Crosskeys Crafts with another male birthday card, and it is based on that same pattern paper. Well, not the exact pattern paper as the last one, but from the same pad. I've just seen today when I'm recording this, I think it's the 9th of February today, that Gemma from Gemma Lee Crafts has actually linked to the company here that sells this one, so this might be sold out by the time I'm posting this video, but they've got other good offers on as well. They are DRK Crafts, they're called. This gentleman, it's his 70th birthday. He likes music and he likes guitars, so I thought this would be the ideal pattern paper. And I was looking on the internet, or rather on YouTube, for a card that would showcase this pattern paper. So this time, rather than choosing the mechanism or the fold first, I decided that the pattern paper comes first, and I need a card that shows this best. So on Sam Calcott's YouTube channel, Mixed Up Craft, I found a multi-panel pop-up card. She made a Christmas card, so this is what this is based on. But I have or will make some little changes here because I did not quite see the point of one of these measurements. So I think I'll zoom in a little bit. You need quite a few pieces for this, but once you've cut these pieces, and I've got a few mats as well, it is really easy to assemble, and this is how I like my cards. I don't like them to be too fiddly or too much cutting into cardstock, and yeah, this is why I chose this one. So you need two pieces that are, oh, by the way, this creates a 5x7 card, and this is what these measurements are based on. Obviously, you could change the measurements, but then you would have to work it out yourself. So for the front and back panel, you need two panels that are 5 inches by 7 inches. I've cut these in blue cardstock. Any cardstock obviously is fine. I just chose a few colors that I also have in my pattern paper. So, and then I show you first what Sam Calcott has. She's cut one panel that is 10 inches by 7 inches for the middle, and she scores this at 2.5, 5 and 7.5, and I have done that. But I don't know if you can see. Let me just zoom out again. Sorry about that. I haven't folded it yet, but I've got the score lines here. But what Sam does is she glues that panel onto here. And I don't quite get that why that needs to be such a big panel, because what happens when I want to put my pattern paper over this, I've got this big edge here, and I don't want that. So I decided to actually cut this down to just a little strip, and when I put my other panels on, this almost disappears. So my new measurements are here. So just 6 inches by 7 inches, and then you score it at 1/2, 3 and 5.5, and that just gives you 1/2 inch flaps on either side, and I think that'll be enough. Then you need, for the bigger pop-up bits, you need two that are 6 inches by 5 inches. This, by the way, that's the width, that's the height. And you score these at 1.5, 3 and 4.5. I have cut mine from patterned cardstock. This is also from this pad, because I didn't want too many plain panels. I didn't want to have to mat this, and I thought this would work really nicely. So this is how you score them. And then you need, for the middle panel, this is just a smaller one, you need one piece that is 6 inches wide and 2 3/4 high, and you score this at 1, 3 and 5. The camera picks that up. So if you want any mats on that, sorry, on the green panel here, you would have two that are 1 3/4 by 2 1/2. That gives you a nice little edge around that. I can't remember. Oh yes, I have done that because I have put my 70, my number on that. But you could also stamp images, obviously. You could stamp a sentiment, but I thought that would be nice. And that's the same star pattern paper, obviously, and I have cut quite a few pieces out of this matte silver cardstock. I thought they'd look really nice with this. So, and then you need two side panels that are 4 5/8 by 4 inches. I have already put a mat on mine. I'll tell you the measurements in a moment. You need to score these at 1/2, 1 1/4, and 3 7/8. And when you've done that, you need to turn one upside down, because one has got the two score lines on this side and one has got the two score lines on that side. And the mat I created here, that is 3 3/4 by 2 1/4. By the way, I will link to Sam's video below as well. She always has got the measurements on the screen. I like to do it this way, and I will just zoom in for you just in case you would like to take a screenshot. So these are the top measurements, and then these are the bottom ones. I hope I get it all in. Yeah. So I've told you about the mats. Oh yeah, and then you need 4 pieces to cover the outside and the inside. So this is my pattern paper here. On the back I will actually have a white piece for a personal greeting, and these are 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. And then I have to think what this one was for. I've forgotten that at the moment. Oh yes, sorry. I mean, just think. Yeah, these are also for the inside, because on the middle panel you need slimmer strips. So these are 2 1/4 by 6 3/4. So when you have the panel, when you've glued it all together, these go on the side and these go in the middle, and then you need one for the back and one for the front. The front one I might actually have forgotten to cut. I originally wanted to use a different panel. I'll just show you a different piece of pattern paper from the same pad, but I decided if I have two different ones, it'll be just too busy. I find the stars work nicely. They're not too much in the face, but I decided against introducing this one here. So I'll probably have to just cut one more of this size. And then for my embellishments, I've cut a few things. It's just got caught here. I've got a happy birthday. I've got a happy birthday for the outside. I've also cut some notes here in the same silver cardstock. And I've got two records here with a happy birthday stamp in the middle. These, I won't link to these. These are from China. I've had these for years. I think I've got them when I first got into card making, and I just created a mat behind it in some shinier silver cardstock because I thought this would look really nice. Oh, and another little tip, because it's mirror cardstock behind it, I just used my red tape to stick these down. I just put little bits in the back, but yeah, I think these work really nicely with the theme, but so they just come on later. So I will quickly fold my and burnish my score lines. All of these are mountain folds, so all of these get folded towards the back and burnished properly. And as I said to you, I will just cut the main panel down, and also will put the score lines in here. So bear with me whilst I do this off camera. For the assembly of my card, I'm using my Cosmic Shimmer glue. This is a quick grab glue, and that helps me to adhere these panels quite quickly. So I'm using my middle panel. Oh, by the way, I said before, all should be mountain folds. This is except for these two. They need to be valley folds, so you've got this shape here. And I'm going to put, just let me think, yeah, I'm putting the glue on the back. And then I'm setting this down on one of these panels. I'm sure I'm adhering it properly. Just checking from the back quickly. That's not overlapping. You've got a bit of wiggle room with the quick grab glue, but not very much. So I can just pull it over a little bit. That's fine, and I'm pressing it down. And because I'm covering this anyway, I'm not too fussed about this here. You could, if you wanted to, taper this a little bit. This one overhangs just a notch, so I'm just taking just this little bit off. And I'm doing the same on the other side. It might actually be easier to put it this way down and set this one down here rather than the other way around, because this is already folded. That sometimes they because it's bent already, it's difficult to put it flat. So if I put this on there, that's easier. And again, if I do it from the back, I can actually see where the score line is, because I don't want to go over the score line. So, and that's already adhered. So I'm leaving that to dry just for a second, but I can already put my patterned paper on. So as I said, if you wanted to taper this so this little line here disappears, but most of it will be covered anyway. And this is, yeah, as I said, I don't understand the one from Sam Calcott that sort of has that line in the middle, but then I would have this big edge running through, and I didn't like that idea. So I'm just using my quick grab glue as well for that. Could use the Collal and acrylic glue. So, and this sits with a bit of an edge on all sides. Sure it's getting straight. This is a non-directional paper, so I'm not too fussed which way around it goes. If you have got the directional paper, you might want to align it properly. Just looking whether I need to put a bit more glue underneath here. See, I think I might even have cut that at a different angle, because the green guitar is going down here and this is going down there. I think that might have been the one that I meant for the front, because I've got a matching panel here, but it doesn't really matter. So, and then I have got these smaller panels. They definitely are cut here, so they need to go next to each other so it doesn't look too awkward. So I suggest you do that as well. Cut one big panel and then just cut it in half to create these two panels, so you can basically fit the pattern back together. I'm making sure these are at the same height, just to give it a neat look. So that's the card base finished. Now we need to add the next pieces, which are these here in my case. So these are the ones, let me just look at my notes here, sorry. The ones that are 6 by 5 inches, so 6 inches wide and 5 inches high. So what you need to do is best turn it sideways. You need to put glue on here and glue on there. Sam Calcott did that in 2 goes. I'm wondering whether I'm brave and just do it in 1 go. I think I will just do that in 1 go. So this is the one, sorry, the 2 panels where it opens up on that side, so that the closed edge is facing to the outside. I haven't made this card before, but I studied the video, so I'm trusting myself to get this right now. So make sure you have got the same distance here on the top and the bottom, and you put this against the score line. I'm not pressing it down yet, I'm just holding it in place. And now I'm closing the card, or close the middle bit at least, and then pushing that panel towards the score line, so that when I press it down now, it should adhere to both sides of the card, so the inner panel and the back panel. Also turning it over and press from this side. And yeah, it's picked up nicely. So I need to do the same on the other side now. So again, fold this like this, giving that another little burnish here. So, and now I'm doing the same thing, but I'm actually placing it from this side because, sorry, let me just put some white paper underneath so you can see what I'm doing. I can see here now where I've got the card. So if I place this in from this side against the score line, I know I can place it on the same height, if you understand what I mean. So I can just press this down here, just take this out now. Yep, looks good to me. So we'll have quite a bit of bulk later on in the card, but I think this will be fine. So I'm just leaving this just for a moment, mainly because my cat's just scratching on my craft room door. He will want some attention and possibly some food. So I leave that to dry for a moment, and I'll be back in a sec for you. So my cat's been fed, this has dried nicely, and now we can attach the side panels. These are the pieces that are 4 5/8 by 4 inches. Just looking here. Yeah, 4 5/8 by 4 inches. So the first thing you need to do is make sure you have got the pieces where you've got 2 panels here, so 2 score lines. They will face the outside. So this one goes here and this one goes on this side. And they again are very easy to attach. Let me just turn this round again. So you put glue just on the small panel here on the flap, but you fold both the panels over. So I'm using my quick grab glue again. and I'm just placing it down here now so that this one hits the score line there, or not the score line, this panel here. And if I try to place it evenly between here, I don't want to slide it under that. And if you've measured correctly, this will actually be in line with that pattern paper. So once I have got it straight and in line, I don't need to adjust that a little bit, I will press it down. Can open it as well a little bit once I've pressed it down, making sure I apply enough pressure, because the quick grab glue, it dries much better when you apply pressure. So when I've done that, I can put glue on this panel here, and then I will close the card so that this grabs onto this panel here and will glue down properly. And then I just repeat that on the other side. Sorry if this is casting a bit of shadow now. Sorry, it slipped. Don't know how that happens, so I'd rather peel it off again and just start again. If I've got any glue residue afterwards, I can sort that. Don't know how that happened, so I'm just placing this down again. So it might be an idea to just leave that for a moment. I think it happened when I opened it up. So I'm sure it's still, yeah, still fine. If you've got any residue whilst it's still wet, you can give that a bit of a rub. If not, I will use my glue eraser afterwards. I find now this, don't know whether it slipped again, this catches a little bit here. So I think I will just take a slither off just to be on the safe side. This will hide anyway, even if I've taken a bit too much off now. As long as it folds flat, it'll be fine. So as before, I'm just folding this down now, and I'm just closing the card. And as before, I'm leaving this to dry now for a minute. The panels have dried nicely, but where this had slipped, I had some excess glue on this, and let me just zoom in a little bit. I always show you these little mistakes. I used my glue eraser on that, and I was a bit too vigorous, and the cardstock tore though there. But I'm not too bothered about this. What I will do is I will just cut a little mat here, and I will do the same for the other side, just with the star pattern paper. And let me just tell you what the measurements are, just in case you want to do that anyway. So the height is the same as this one, which is 3 3/4, and the width, I would just do it at 1/2 inch. This one has got a bit of, sorry about this, I went off camera there, 1/2 inch. Yeah, I think that would be fine. and then that can take the focus away a little bit from this. Also, I can't remember which way around I glued it, but I will definitely, sorry I'm zooming out again, I will definitely have it this way round because the guitar in the middle is facing upwards, so I will have that. So I will just off camera place this panel here on the front, and for the back I've got this white panel which I've used my corner rounder on that. I thought that looked a bit nicer. So as I said, I will quickly do this off camera, and then I just need to embellish this. Two little tips before I continue. Oh, first of all, I want to show you this. So got the panels there and the panel there, and this is the one where I had excess glue. Although it's a bit out of focus, I think you can hardly see this there. And as I said, the focus will be on something else. But when I cut the half-inch strip, this was my first one, I realised the way this pattern is, I didn't have a lot of stars on there, so I just cut another one, and I have quite a few more stars on there, and I think that's nicer. The second thing I decided, I haven't put the panel on the back of the card yet for my personal greeting. I will actually write the personal greeting first and then stick it down, because if I make a mess of that, if I misspell something, at least I'm not ruining all this work. I don't have to peel it off then. So I'll leave that off there for now. But so far, I think this looks really impressive, and it is quite a showstopper card. So the last thing we need to attach is the middle panel, but I think the best thing is for me to put the mats on that first before I glue this down, because I need to have them at the same level, and I think that will be a bit tricky once I have glued it down. So I'm quickly doing this off camera. I'm gluing the number down here, and then I'll show you how we attach them in the card, or attach it rather. To attach this panel, I've put my card sideways again. I find this easier. And I'm starting with one of the flaps, and I'm just putting glue on that. And this will sit on this panel here. So what I'm doing is I'm pressing this down, and I'm placing this here where I want it, against that panel, but not underneath. And then I will just close the card. Now I tell you what, I think it'll be easier if I turn it this way around, because then I know it definitely lands there and it won't move as I had before. So I'm just pressing it down there. Sorry if you can't see. So I'm making sure it doesn't get caught in there, and if I close it now, I can test that it closes nicely, and I can also apply some pressure. And once you've done that one, the other one's easier, because all you need to do is fold this over the middle flap, and I'm doing the same thing now. I'm applying glue on here, just trying to catch a bit more light for you there. I'll actually move a little bit of the glue, because I think that will just ooze out. It's too close to the edge there. So I'm pressing this down now, and now I'm just closing the card, and I think that will just grab it nicely. Just checking without opening it too much. Yeah, that's fine. So, and then all that's left for me to do is to embellish the card. I will just do this off camera. I think they can see the 70 in the middle. I think this looks really cool. So I will just put my records here and there. I've got this music die. I cut this down, by the way. It was a bit weird. So I think this will go on one side. I try not to get too close to the edges here, because I don't want these to catch there. So I'll probably be okay. I'm having a bit of overhang on the edges here. So I thought the music's on that one side and the happy birthday maybe here, because I don't have a happy birthday on the inside, or the other way round. And then I've got this happy birthday die for the outside, and I've stamped, this is from a stamp set that came with the records. I've stamped this and I cut a frame for this as well, and it says, "For the record, you're not old, you are a classic." So I thought this would be nice for a 70th birthday. So as I said, I'll quickly do this off camera. I will probably use my magic glue, except for this delicate sentiment here, the intricate one. I will use my Zig glue pen. Let me just show you. If you haven't seen this one yet, that's really good for intricate dies. So yeah, and I'll probably use it for this one as well. So I quickly do this off camera and then I'll show you the finished card. Here's my finished card. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I'm really pleased with this. So I've put the sentiment on here, I put the notes on there. It was a bit tricky because I've got different levels here, so I had to press it down a little bit. I do actually suggest creating these panels before you stick them down, because you need to apply quite a bit of pressure, and because you've got different bulk in different places, this was a bit tricky to press these all down. I did use pieces of paper to just get a good grip and just rub these down, so that's another little tip from me. If you have got any stickiness on mirror cardstock, mirror cardstock, you can use a cotton bud with a bit of alcohol, but be careful not to harm your pattern paper. Or you can just use your anti-static powder tool. The powder will get rid of this stickiness as well. So that's the inside. And then, oh, by the way, my embellishment here on the inside, that sticks out just a wee bit, but I'm okay with that. So when the recipient opens it, look at that. I'm really pleased with this. So it stands up like this, and this is the full view of it. I think it came together really nicely. So this is where it overhangs a little bit. I didn't want to get too close to there, but I could have moved it over just a little bit. So that's just a little warning there to basically contain it on this panel. I did deliberately put the records over the over the border of the mat there. I wanted to go it over the orange as well. So I moved this one towards the top and that side, and this one towards the bottom and that side. But yeah, I think this is really cool, and I'm hand delivering this, so I'm not bothered about the weight and the thickness of this. I might have to make a special envelope, but sometimes I find the 5x7 envelopes that you buy in the shops are sometimes a bit bigger anyway. So but yeah, I'm really pleased with this. Yeah, and if you like this one too, you might want to give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, I post videos at least twice a week, then you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. And I'll see you soon with another video.